Commander Tay stood at the observation deck, her eyes fixed on the small blue planet displayed on the massive screen. Earth looked peaceful from this distance, oceans and land masses partially hidden under swirling cloud patterns. She brushed a strand of black hair from her face and sighed deeply. For 200 years, the Galactic Council had maintained that Earth was too dangerous to contact. They called humans violent, unpredictable, and unready for the truth of galactic civilization. The Council created an energy barrier around the solar system that kept humans unaware of the vast community of species beyond their home. "Another day watching the quarantine?" asked Officer Dal, joining her at the window. Tay nodded without looking away from the screen. 2 centuries of the same lie. Do you ever wonder if we're doing the right thing? Dal shifted uncomfortably. Our job isn't to question the Council's wisdom. But Tay had been questioning it more with each passing day. The reports she read about humans didn't match what she observed. Yes, they fought wars and had conflicts, but they also created beautiful art, made scientific advances at remarkable speed, and showed kindness to each other in surprising ways. The real reason for the quarantine wasn't human violence. It was human adaptability. Every species in the Galactic Council had evolved for specific environments and purposes. The Lorians had superior strength but couldn't handle temperature changes. The Miki had incredible intelligence but fragile bodies. Tay's own people had longevity and patience but reproduced slowly. Humans were different. They weren't the best at anything, but they could do almost everything reasonably well. They adapted to new situations faster than any known species. They worked together in ways that even the most social alien cultures found hard to understand. The Council feared this adaptability. They feared what would happen if humans joined galactic society and started learning from thousands of other species. Tai's computer screen flashed with an alert message. She tapped it open and froze. "This can't be right," she whispered. "What is it?" Dal moved closer to see. "The barrier has been breached. A human ship has somehow broken through." Dal's eyes widened. "That's impossible. Their technology is nowhere near advanced enough." "Apparently it is." Tay pulled up the sensor readings. "Single-occupant vessel, minimal weaponry, currently drifting, in neutral space near the Centauri Gateway. We need to alert Council Leader Kim immediately." Tay nodded but hesitated before sending the message. This breach could finally expose the truth. The Council would be forced to admit their deception. Part of her welcomed it. The door to the observation deck slid open. Officer Han rushed in, breathing hard. "Commander Tay, have you heard? A human broke through." "I just saw the alert," Tai replied calmly. "We're about to notify the Council." Han shook his head. "It's worse than that. The human ship broadcasted their journey. Their entire planet saw them break through the barrier. They know something is out here now." Tay felt her heart race. This changed everything. The barrier appeared visible to them. Briefly, yes. Their scientists are analyzing the data. They'll figure out it was artificial. Dal began pacing nervously. The quarantine is compromised. 200 years of work destroyed in an instant. Tay brought up images from Earth's news broadcasts. Millions of humans were watching footage of their explorer's ship, hitting what looked like a shimmering wall in space before breaking through. Scientists were already theorizing about what it could. For the secret wouldn't hold for long. "Who is the human?" Tay asked. Han checked his device. "Dr. Elena Reyes, physicist. She was testing an experimental drive system. It shouldn't have been capable of penetrating the barrier. But it did," Tay said softly. "And now everything changes." She made her decision and activated the communication system. "This is Commander Tay requesting emergency meeting with Council Leader Kim regarding Earth quarantine breach. Situation critical." Within minutes, her screen lit up with the stern face of Council Leader Kim. "Report, Commander." "Sir, the Earth barrier has been breached by a human scientist. The event was broadcast back to their planet. Millions of humans have seen evidence of the barrier." Kim's face darkened. "Capture the human vessel, erase their data." "With respect, sir, it's too late. The information is spreading across their global network." "Then we have no choice," Kim said coldly. "Prepare the containment protocol." Tay felt a chill. The containment protocol was the Council's most extreme option, a memory-altering pulse that would make all humans forget the incident. It had dangerous side effects and had never been used on such a scale. "Sir, I request time to assess other options," Tay said carefully. "There are no other options. Commander, the quarantine must be maintained at all costs. Implement the protocol immediately." As the connection ended, Tay looked back at the image of Earth. Dal and Han waited for her orders. "Commander?" Dal prompted. "Should I prepare the containment pulse?" Tay made the most difficult decision of her career. "No. Contact the human vessel instead. It's time for the truth." Dr. Elena Reyes floated in her small spacecraft, staring out the window at the stars. One moment she had been testing her experimental drive near Saturn, and the next she had punched through what looked like a shimmering wall. Now she was somewhere else. Her instruments showed no recognizable star patterns. Earth was no longer visible. "Houston, do you copy?" She tried again, knowing it was useless. No response had come for the past hour. A soft beep from her console made her turn. A new object had appeared on her sensors, massive and approaching, fast. Elena's heart hammered in her chest. The object slowed as it neared, revealing itself to be a ship larger than any aircraft carrier on Earth. "This is not happening," she whispered, gripping her seat tightly. A light flashed on her communication panel. Something, was trying to contact her. With trembling fingers, Elena accepted the transmission. A face appeared on her screen. It looked almost human, but with subtle differences. Slightly larger eyes, smoother skin, and hair so black it seemed to absorb light. The being spoke, and to Elena's shock, she understood the words. "Dr. Elena Reyes of Earth. I am Commander Tay. Of the Galactic Observation Fleet, please remain calm." Elena struggled to find her voice. "How do you know my name? How can I understand you?" "We have studied your planet for centuries. Our translation systems adapt to any language. Your vessel has breached a quarantine barrier that has surrounded Earth for 200 years. Elena shook her head in disbelief. "Quarantine? Are you saying aliens have been watching us all this time?" "Yes. The Galactic Council has kept Earth isolated from the wider community of species. I'm breaking protocol by speaking to you directly." A second face appeared on the screen, another being with pale blue skin and dark eyes. "Commander Tay, end this transmission immediately. Council Leader Kim has ordered implementation of the containment protocol." "No, Han," Tay replied firmly. "The humans deserve the truth. The Council's deception must end." Elena listened in stunned silence as the two aliens argued. Centuries of quarantine, a galactic council, containment protocols. It was too much to process. "Dr. Reyes," Tay addressed her again. "Your ship is damaged from passing through the barrier. We will bring you aboard our vessel with a tractor beam. Please do not be alarmed." Before Elena could respond, a soft blue light enveloped her ship. She felt a gentle pulling sensation as her craft moved toward the enormous alien vessel. Minutes later, Elena stood in what appeared to be a medical bay, surrounded by beings of various shapes and sizes. Some looked nearly human, while others were utterly alien, beings with multiple limbs, unusual skin colors, and features she had no words to describe. "Your vital signs are normal," said a small being with 4 arms, scanning her with a handheld device. "No adverse effects from passing through the barrier." Commander Tay entered the room, and the other being stepped aside respectfully. Up close, she was tall and elegant, with a quiet strength in her movements. "Welcome aboard the Stellar Observer," Tay said. "I apologize for the shock of this meeting. It was never supposed to happen this way." "Why?" Elena asked simply. "Why keep us isolated?" Tay gestured to a screen on the wall, which displayed images of Earth. "The official reason is that humans are too violent and unpredictable to join galactic society. And the real reason? You are too adaptable, too quick to learn and change. The Council fears how rapidly humans would advance if given access to the knowledge and technology of thousands of other species." Elena processed this information slowly. So we're being held back, kept in the dark because we might learn too quickly? Exactly. Tay nodded. But the situation has changed. Your breakthrough was broadcast back to Earth. Millions saw you pass, through the barrier. The Council wants to use technology to make all humans forget what they saw. That's horrible, Elena exclaimed. Yes, that's why I contacted you instead. The deception must end. An alarm suddenly blared throughout the ship. Han rushed into the room, his blue face tense with worry. Commander, more human ships have breached the barrier. 7 vessels. They've somehow replicated Dr. Reyes's drive technology. Tay and Elena exchanged shocked looks. How is that possible? Tay asked. It's only been hours since her breakthrough. Elena couldn't help but smile slightly. That's humanity for you. When we see something as possible, we move quickly. On the main screen, multiple small Earth vessels appeared, approaching the stellar observer. The communication system chimed. This is Admiral Chen of the United Earth Space Command, came a stern voice. We demand the safe return of Dr. Reyes and an explanation for the artificial barrier surrounding our solar system. Tay looked at Elena, who nodded encouragingly. This is Commander Tay of the Galactic Observation Fleet, she responded. We mean no harm. It's time for truth and open communication between our peoples. As Tay began explaining the centuries-long deception to the human admiral, Elena realized she was witnessing history, the true first contact between Earth and the galactic community. The Galactic Council's carefully maintained lies were crumbling, and a new chapter was beginning. The Grand Council chamber fell silent as Commander Tay finished her presentation. 50 council members from different species sat in tiered seats, their expressions ranging from shock to anger. The massive central hologram showed Earth ships spreading throughout the nearby star systems, making contact with various alien civilizations. It has been only 30 days since the barrier breach, Tay said, her voice steady despite her nervousness. In that time, humans have built a fleet of 200 ships using the drive technology they reverse-engineered from Dr. Reyes's vessel. Council leader Kim stood up, his tall frame imposing. This is exactly what we feared for centuries. Their adaptation rate is unprecedented. It's worse than that, added Min, the Council's science director. He was short, with gray skin that seemed to shimmer under the chamber lights. They're not just copying the technology, they're improving it. The newest human ships are 15% more efficient than our standard models. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Tay brought up new images showing humans meeting with representatives from the Lorian and Miki species. The humans are establishing independent diplomatic relations, she continued. 7 trade agreements have already been signed. They're learning alien languages at remarkable speeds. Council member Sue slammed her hand on the table. This is a direct violation of Council authority. All first contact situations must be managed through us. The humans don't recognize our authority, Tay replied simply. They were never told about it. In a private room nearby, Dr. Elena Reyes sat with Admiral Chen, watching the council meeting through a video feed. They had been invited to observe but not participate. They're afraid of us, Elena said quietly. After centuries of advancement, they're actually afraid of what we might do. Chen nodded. Not because we're violent, because we're fast learners. On the screen, the council debate grew heated. Some members called for immediate military action to contain the human expansion. Others argued for diplomatic engagement. Min displayed a new chart. This shows the typical adaptation curve for spacefaring species. Most take 50 to 100 years to fully integrate new technologies. Humans are doing it in weeks. It's not just technology, added council member June, who had spent time with the human delegations. Their social adaptation is equally impressive. They adjust to alien customs almost instantly. My staff reports that human diplomats are already using proper Azuri greeting rituals that took our own diplomats years to master. The chamber doors suddenly opened. A human delegation entered, led by Elena and Chen. They hadn't been invited to this part of the meeting, but they walked in confidently. Kim frowned. This session is closed to non-council members. We know, Chen replied. But since you're discussing humanity's future, we thought we should be present. Before Kim could object, Elena stepped forward. We've reviewed your historical records, the ones Commander Tay shared with us. For centuries, you've kept advanced species separated from each other, controlling the flow of technology and information. For the stability of the galaxy, Kim said sternly. For control, Elena countered. Each species in your council evolved with specific strengths and limitations. The Lorians are physically powerful but struggle with abstract thinking. The Miki are brilliant but physically fragile. Each species fills a niche. And humans? Asked Sue. We're adaptable. We don't excel at anything specifically, but we can learn almost anything adequately. We're generalists in a galaxy of specialists. The council chamber grew quiet as they absorbed this truth. Humans weren't the strongest, smartest, or fastest species, but they could be strong enough, smart enough, and fast enough at everything. It made them uniquely dangerous to the council's careful balance of power. We've detected your fleet movements, Chen said, changing the subject. Your ships are positioning themselves around Earth. Is this meant to be a show of force? Several council members looked uncomfortable. The military mobilization was supposed to be secret, a precautionary measure, Kim said smoothly. Unnecessary, Elena replied. We're not interested in conflict. We want to join the galactic community as equals, not conquerors. At that moment, Tay's communication device beeped urgently. She checked it and looked up with alarm. Council leader, we have a situation. Human ships have been detected near the Xylar system. Kim's face paled. The restricted zone? How did they find it? They followed trade routes and communication signals, Tay explained. They're making contact with the Xylarians now. The council erupted in panic. The Xylarians were a species the council had kept technologically suppressed for millennia, harvesting their world's rare resources while keeping them in a pre-industrial state. If the humans tell them the truth, Min began. The Xylarians will learn they've been exploited, Elena finished. Yes, they will. And we've already told them. Kim stood up, fury in his eyes. You have no right. Neither did you, Chen replied calmly. This is just the beginning. Every secret you've kept, every species you've suppressed or exploited, it all comes to light now. As the council descended into chaos, Tay watched the humans with newfound respect. Their greatest strength wasn't their adaptability alone. It was their willingness to challenge established power and ask why things couldn't be different. In just 30 days, they had begun dismantling a system that had stood for thousands of years. The human advantage was becoming clearer by the minute, and the Galactic Council was right to panic. Council leader Kim stood before the emergency session, his usually perfect appearance now showing signs of strain. His uniform was wrinkled, and dark circles shadowed his eyes. 3 months had passed since the humans breached the barrier, and nothing was going according to plan. The situation continues to deteriorate, he announced to the half-empty chamber. Many council representatives had been recalled by their governments for emergency consultations. Some hadn't returned. Human diplomatic missions have now reached 97 systems. They've made contact with 32 species that were under council protection. Protection, muttered Tay from her seat near the back. The word tasted bitter. Now, she knew better. Those species had been deliberately kept at lower technological levels so the council could control their resources. Kim ignored her and continued. The Xylarians have formally rejected council oversight and requested human assistance with technological development. The Meraxians and Volturi have followed suit. Council member Sue stood up, her voice sharp with anger. We must use military force before this spreads further. The humans are dismantling the order we've maintained for millennia. Our military options are limited, replied General Park, appearing on the large screen. His weathered face looked grave. 4 council battleships were disabled by human vessels near the Proxima system yesterday. Their technology has evolved in unexpected ways. Impossible, Sue insisted. They've had access to advanced technology for only 3 months. 3 months is apparently enough, Park said quietly. They didn't destroy our ships. They simply disabled their engines and communication systems, then continued on their way. The crews were unharmed. In a conference room aboard the human flagship Horizon, Dr. Elena Reyes met with representatives from 17 formerly suppressed species. Star maps and technical diagrams covered the walls, showing trade routes and resource deposits that had previously been controlled exclusively by the Council. My government has approved the technology transfer, Elena explained as she handed out data tablets. These contain educational programs that will help your people understand the principles behind faster-than-light travel, advanced medicine, and sustainable energy production. A Xylarian elder, her skin a deep purple with luminescent patterns, took the tablet with trembling hands. For centuries, we believed we were alone in the universe, struggling to survive on our depleted world. The Council ships came as gods, taking what they wanted and giving little in return. Those days are over, Elena assured her. The knowledge we're sharing doesn't come with control. You're free to develop in your own way at your own pace. Admiral Chen entered the room, nodding respectfully to the gathered representatives before approaching Elena. The Council is calling for another emergency meeting, he said quietly. Apparently, the Lorians and 3 other founding species have formally withdrawn from the Council. Their governments want direct treaties with Earth instead. Elena raised her eyebrows in surprise. The Lorians, they've been loyal to the Council for over 2,000 years. Things change fast when the truth comes out, Chen replied with a slight smile. Back in the Council chamber, June displayed a galactic map, showing the rapidly changing political landscape. Vast sections of formerly Council-controlled space were now marked in different colors, representing independent alliances and treaties. We've lost effective control of 68% of our territory, he reported grimly. Member worlds are demanding answers about centuries of deception. What deception? Kim snapped. We maintained order. We prevented wars and chaos. From her seat, Tay finally spoke up. We suppressed countless species to maintain our power. We hoarded technology and knowledge that could have helped billions. The humans haven't conquered anything. They've simply shared information, and that was enough to bring down our entire system. The chamber fell silent. Then a young council member named Yoon stood up. She had only joined the council the previous year and had been quiet during most sessions. I have something the full council needs to see, she said, her voice steady despite her obvious nervousness. She connected her device to the main display system. Documents began to appear on the screens. Internal council memos, classified research, and secret directives spanning centuries. They detailed deliberate campaigns to suppress technological advancement on hundreds of worlds, to manipulate developing species into resource dependency, and to maintain artificial scarcity of vital medicines and technologies. Where did you get these? Kim demanded, his face pale. I've been gathering them for months, Yoon admitted. I've sent copies to every member world government, and to the humans. The chamber erupted in shouting. Some members lunged toward Yoon, while others raced for the exits. Security forces rushed in to restore order, but it was too late. The Council's most carefully guarded secrets were now public knowledge. In a quiet corridor outside the chamber, Tay found Yoon surrounded by security. Officers! You've destroyed everything, Tay said, not unkindly. Yoon looked up, surprisingly calm. No, I've only destroyed the lies. Whatever we build next will be better because it will be built on truth. As alarms blared throughout the council station, and desperate messages flooded in from member worlds, Tay realized that the young council member was right. The careful system of control that had stood for thousands of years had collapsed in just 3 months, not because of human weapons or aggression, but because humans had simply asked questions and shared the answers freely. The Galactic Council wasn't falling to conquest. It was falling to transparency. 6 months after Elena's accidental breakthrough, the massive meeting hall of the former council headquarters hummed with activity. Representatives from over 200 species filled the chamber, creating a stunning display of diversity. Some floated in anti-gravity fields, others breathed through special masks, and many forms defied easy description. At the center of it all stood a circular table, where the final charter for the new interstellar cooperative was being signed. Tay watched from her position near the human delegation. Her old council uniform was gone, replaced by the simple blue garments of a diplomatic liaison. She still found it hard to believe how completely the galaxy had transformed in half a year. "Nervous?" asked Elena, now serving as Earth's chief representative. "A little," Tay admitted. "For thousands of years the Council controlled everything. Now we're creating something entirely new." Elena nodded. "Change is always frightening, but necessary." On the main platform, the Xylarian elder spoke to the assembly. Her voice translated instantly for all present. "For centuries my people believed we were cursed. Our soil grew poor, our children sickened, and our prayers went unanswered. Now we know the truth. Council mining operations poisoned our world while their shields blocked the natural renewal of our atmosphere." She paused, luminescent patterns rippling across her purple skin. "Yet today we do not speak of revenge. With human assistance, we have begun healing our planet. We join this cooperative not in anger, but in hope." Applause echoed through the chamber. Next came a representative of the Lorians, once the Council's most loyal enforcers. The massive being bowed deeply. "The Lorian collective acknowledges our role in maintaining the Council's rule," he said, his deep voice somber. "We were told we protected the galaxy from chaos. Instead, we helped enforce an unjust system. We seek forgiveness through action, offering our strength to build rather than control." One by one, representatives from different worlds spoke, some recounting past sufferings, others pledging resources for rebuilding. The mood wasn't entirely harmonious. Old tensions showed intense postures and careful wording. Yet the collective will to create something better remained strong. In a quiet corner, Kim watched the proceedings with a small group of former council leaders. Their power was gone, but they had been allowed to attend as observers. Most looked bitter or resigned, but Kim's expression was more thoughtful. "They'll fail," whispered Sue, standing beside him. "Without our guidance, the galaxy will fall into chaos and war. These species aren't ready for true self-governance." Kim surprised her by shaking his head. "I'm not so certain anymore. Look, how they're handling the resource disputes. They're actually listening to each other." On the main screen, a complex map showed the redistribution of access to rare materials and trade routes. Where the Council had once controlled all major resources, the new cooperative was establishing shared management systems with input from all affected worlds. "The humans are the key," Kim observed. "They're not taking control themselves. They're facilitating communication between species who have never truly spoken to each other before." As if to illustrate his point, a human diplomat was currently mediating a heated discussion between three species whose languages and cultures were so different they had never achieved direct communication under Council rule. The human moved smoothly between them, finding common ground while respecting their differences. Han approached Tay with a data tablet. "The final treaty section is ready for your review." Tay scanned the document, which outlined the new emergency response protocols. Under the Council, crises on member worlds were often used as excuses for increased control. The new system emphasized rapid aid without political conditions. "It's good," she said, authorizing the section with her thumbprint. "Better than what we had before." "Did you ever imagine this outcome when you decided to contact Dr. Reyes instead of following the containment protocol?" Han asked quietly. Tay smiled. "Never. I just knew I couldn't be part of another deception." At the central table, the final signatures were being added to the charter. Elena signed for Earth, then stepped back. There was no special position for humans in the new structure. They were equal members among many. Yet their influence was undeniable. Their ability to understand diverse perspectives and find practical compromises had proven invaluable in the transition. As the ceremony concluded, representatives moved to the great observation deck overlooking space. The station orbited a neutral star at the galaxy's heart, once a secret council location, now open to all member species. Tay found herself standing between Elena and Kim, watching ships from dozens of worlds move peacefully through the starfield. They should have feared you, Kim said suddenly to Elena. The council was right about that, but for the wrong reasons. What do you mean? Elena asked. We thought humanity's adaptability made you dangerous competitors. We never considered that. Your greatest strength might be helping others adapt too. Tay looked out at the ships moving in their complex dance, former enemies now cautious partners, oppressed worlds now finding their voices, the beginning of something new and untested, but full of possibility. The council's lies have crumbled, she said softly. And truth, it seems, is the most powerful force in the galaxy. Elena smiled. Truth, and the willingness to share it freely. Below them, the interstellar cooperative took its first uncertain steps into a new era, one built not on control and separation, but on connection and hope.